Welcome to another handy lesson. In today's video, you're going to learn about behaviorism, about the psychological theories of learning. So, when we talk about behaviorism, we're going to talk about the theory itself, some authors, main authors of the theory, and specifically the roles of the teacher, the student, and the institution according to this paradigm. So, what is behaviorism? All right, well, behaviorism is basically psychological educational theory that states that human beings, or children in this case, can be transformed, conditioned, or changed in order that they can transform their behavior. So, John Watson, who's considered to be the father of behaviorism, said the following. He said, "Give me a dozen healthy infants, well informed, and my own specified world to bring him up in, and a guarantee to take anyone at random and train him to become any type of a specialist. I might select doctor, lawyer, artist, merchant chief, and yes, even beggarman and thief, regardless of his talents, pensions, tendencies, abilities, vocations, and race of his ancestors." So basically, behaviorism could transform the behavior of one person and make him or turn him into something different. Behaviorism is also known as behavioral psychology. Okay, so let us talk about the authors that represent the theory. So we have John Watson, who we just quoted on his famous site. Okay, he proposed the observable behavior, that only behavior that could be observed, recorded, and measured was of any real value for the study of humans or animals. Okay, in this case, behaviorists do not make a big difference between animal behavior and human behavior, based on the proposition that we all can be conditioned, or our behavior can be conditioned in pretty much the same ways. So we have Ivan Pavlov, whose experiment with the dog and the bell, made a confirmation on this. Basically, what he did is to have a dog and show him a piece of meat. So the dog started craving for the meat. But he did not give the meat to the dog. They rang a bell instead. Eventually, at a specific time, I mean the same time every day, they rang a bell when they showed the meat to the dog. The dog started craving for the meat. Eventually, they stopped showing the meat and they only rang the bell. So the dog, anyway, started craving for the meat. So his behavior changed, or was conditioned to the bell. So basically, what Pavlov did was to condition the dog to have a prompter. In this case, the bell prompted the desire, the anxiety for the meat, even though when the dog was not seeing the meat. So this was one of the main experiments from Pavlov, which can be later applied into human beings, right? We have also Skinner, whose operant conditioning, sometimes referred to as instrumental conditioning, based on two premises, right? We can condition the behavior of a human being in two different ways, positive or negative. Positive being a reward, or negative being a punishment. Therefore, we can condition the behavior in a positive or in a negative way. In this case, if children behaved according to the standards, they received a reward. But if they misbehaved, then they received the punishment. In many cases, that punishment meant being sent to the corner of the classroom with ass ears. You know, all the strategies, those were the negative um, reinforcement, the negative rewards, right? And Edward Thorndike, he said that if we reinforce the positive reward, then we could have a person to continuously do or have the same behavior over and over. So behaviorism then says that we could change the behavior of human beings if we train him or condition him on different reactions to their acts. Okay, The roles in the paradigm. We have basically the role of a teacher, the student, and the school. The teacher in this paradigm is the main role. He is the center of the class, the only resource of knowledge, right? He's the teacher who is the only one who can transmit the knowledge to the students. And then the student plays a passive role in this paradigm. The student becomes only an information receiver, and he has to memorize all of that information that he is receiving. Also, the discipline must be like really high standard discipline. Okay, students are not allowed to stand up or speak if they are not asked to do so by the teacher, of course. And well, the school must make sure that all this discipline environment takes effect. So the school is created to establish rules, and the environment must be in perfect order. So these are the roles in behaviorism. It is important to say that behaviorism was proposed back in the early 20th century, when the Industrial Revolution was at its best, and the society needed workers who could be able to follow rules, obey strictly, and be in perfect order so they could work and fulfill the necessity of the industries back in that time. Well, that is all in behaviorism. If you want to know more about it, you can read the references on your PDF. Thanks, and see you in the next handy lesson.